Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Everyone can hear me?
Yes, Nisha, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, our esteemed speaker has joined us now, so I will start with the session.
Let me ask.
Good afternoon.
Please ask if yeah, he's there. Mr. Manish, you are there?
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Manish sir. This is indeed a moment of proud privilege and honor to welcome you all to the webinar entitled Innovations and IPRs in Chemical Industry, organized by Institutions Innovation Council 3.0 of Meherchand Mahajan DAV College for Women, Sector 36, Chandigarh. The institution's Innovation Council of this college is working under the guidance of MHRD's Innovation Council. The primary objective of the Innovation Council is to organize webinars, workshops, interactions with entrepreneurs and professionals to encourage, inspire, and nurture the young students by supporting them to work with the new ideas and transforming them into prototypes while they graduate from different higher educational institutions. On behalf of President IIC and Principal Dr. Nisha Bhargava, Vice President IIC Dr. Indu Arora, Convener IIC Dr. Neetu Batra, I take this opportunity to extend a very warm welcome to esteemed speaker of the webinar, Mr. Manish Sharma, who is the Senior Manager in Winsome IP Solutions. Mr. Manish Sharma is a postgraduate honors in chemistry from Punjab University, Chandigarh, and also holds a postgraduate diploma in patents law from Nalsa University of Law, Hyderabad. He has about 12 years of experience in the field of intellectual property rights and associated legal aspects. Prior joining to Winsome, he has worked in the IP departments of several reputed organizations, namely Panacea Biotech, Nectar Life Sciences, Shilpa Medicare, and Microlabs Limited. His expertise include patent searches, IP analysis, patent drafting, patent prosecution, FTO opinions, selection of non-infringing IP options, and IP litigation support. At Winsome, he is handling the technologies related to specialty chemicals, agrochemicals, as well as pharmaceuticals. We are very delighted to have you with us today, sir. Thank you for accepting our kind invitation and sparing your valuable time for enlightening our students with your words of wisdom. I request everyone to please turn on their cameras to have a group photograph. Everyone is requested to turn on their camera for the group photograph.
Dr. Nisha, can you please put this brochure on site so that we can have a proper layout?
Yeah, sure. Are we done?
A moment more, please. Thank you.
Thank you. We can turn on the cameras. Thank you, everyone. Few important instructions for students. Students, they are required to turn on their mics and cameras until they are asked to turn it on. Attendance cum feedback form will be posted in the chat box of the meeting link as well as in the YouTube link. You have to fill the attendance, and for any questions you can ask towards the end of the session, or you can post in the chat box of YouTube as well as in the Google Meet. Now I invite Mr. Manish to begin with the session on IPR. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I would like to thank President, Vice President, Convener, and all the coordinators for giving me this opportunity. Dr. Nisha, I would like to have that option of presenting my screen. I think it's with you. Am I audible?
Yes, he's audible. Dr. Nisha, I think you have to give him the right to present his screen. Can you see the option of present now, Mr. Manish?
No. I'm just getting the option of raising hand. Yes, I got it. Present now.
Yeah.
Now it's right.
Yes.
I hope it is visible to everyone now.
Not yet.
Okay. Please let me know when it is visible.
No, it's not visible yet.
Is it visible?
It's not visible yet. Can you please share your presentation? I'll just give the mail ID so that you can share with us, and then we can present it from here. Or is it the option coming in entire screen? Share entire screen.
Fine, I'll share it with you.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the ID. I'm going to give you send it on phone on the mobile.
Okay, should I share by WhatsApp?
Yeah, that will also be fine. No problem. You can share.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Dr. Ishu, I've shared.
Yes, I got it. I'll present it here now. Please wait. I've got it. Please wait, I am just going to share. I think, is this fine, Mr. Manish? Is it visible?
Yes. Can you please share it full screen?
Pardon for the technical issues. Just give me a minute, sir.
Yeah, no.
Manita, I'll be able to do it from here. I'm able to do it from here.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
Okay. Yes, is it fine?
Yeah, perfect. Shall I start?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So we are ready to go. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, I'll not put you guys to sleep after lunch. Dr. Ishu, you will be having controls of this PPT.
Yes, I have that.
Okay. So whenever I say next, you can shift to the next slide.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So today's discussion will be regarding innovations and IPRs in chemical industry. One thing I would like to share in this is that finally innovation is an industry. It doesn't go without money. So everything is regarding finances and how to generate them and how to bring in more money, because innovation will require further investments. Next. Objectives of today's presentation are: first, I'll take you through understanding what is intellectual property about, and then the types of intellectual property rights available, understanding the IP system. Finally, and more importantly, because what I understand most of the students are from science background, we'll be going through patents in detail, not the other IP aspects. And finally, innovations and IPRs in chemical industry. Next. If somebody could tell me who invented wireless, I'll wait if somebody drops a message in chat box. Who invented wireless? Fine. Next, I'll give you options. Most of the people, in fact, if you Google out also, it will be Mr. Marconi. But one more name pops up next. That is of our indigenous Jagdish Chandra Bose. Now, the factor between these two is Mr. Bose, he had invented the system which finally led to the development of wireless. But because Mr. Bose, he never patented his invention, he never got that fame which Mr. Marconi got, because Mr. Marconi got the patent on wireless system. So maybe this shows us the importance of filing a patent in today's world. Next. Basically understanding what is intellectual property. If I buy a car or if I purchase a home, that is my tangible property. I can present it to anyone, but whenever I purchase a car, I go for its registration. I purchase a house, I go for its registration, so that it's very clear it's my car, it's my home. Anyone else, they will be allowed into my home if I wish. I want to sell my home, that is also my right. But what if I have some idea? I have some idea in my mind, what to do with that? That is my intangible property. Similarly, if I'm an artist, I write books. What happens if I write a book and somebody takes my idea, publish their own book? So for protection from these kind of aspects, we have intangible property rights which are governed by government rules. They are called as intellectual property rights. Because not only if I am a poet, if I am a writer, I am an inventor, even if I am a business entity, I have invested a lot of money in my promotion. If I see this Nike symbol, it's very old. It's old than decades. because they have invested a lot of money in promoting this. But if somebody is selling not by the name Nike, by the name Hike, if somebody is selling, it is like using the goodwill of Nike and selling their own product. They have not invested any money in goodwill of the product, but still they are using Nike's name. So how to have this kind of registration so that I can tell, no, this is my idea, this is my product, just like my house. If I wish somebody to enter, only then I will allow the other person to use my products. For those kind of things, intellectual property rights come into picture. Next. So these are the type of IP rights available. I'll quickly rush through them. I'll not take much time on this. There are kind of industrial property rights which are having more of industrial value. New plant varieties mostly related to people who are doing research on plants, and copyrights. First of all, copyrights is very clear, mostly towards artistic aspects like songs, movies, books. These kind of things will be protected by, if piracy is to be stopped, it has to be used by copyrights. And industrial property rights, patents are there, which I'll discuss in detail in today's presentation. Trademarks are there. Suppose I see the name Geo somewhere. Geo doesn't have any meaning as such. Geo word, which is very famous. So they have got it registered. So that now in future, they have invested so much of effort in publicizing Geo. Now nobody else should use Geo on, suppose, their oil or soap, Geo oil. Those kind of things should not happen. So because they will be using goodwill of Geo and selling their own products. So what they will do, they'll register their own trademark and then designs. Everyone, even if I don't show the bottle of Coca-Cola, everyone will recognize it's a bottle of Coca-Cola only, even if I show its shadow, because its design is so famous. And then GI are like geographical indications. Mostly in our region, a cloth called Fulkari is very famous. And it has got geographical indication that the word Fulkari can only be used by the weavers of Punjab, Haryana and some areas of Rajasthan. If somebody in eastern part of India is selling the same cloth by the name Fulkari, it's not allowed because it developed in this region. So government has ensured that this name retains its authenticity. Next. Now, all these intellectual property rights, they go by the principle of quid pro quo. In the sense, if I go by the terms of patent, why government is giving me something? Why would government give me any kind of rights? Or even defend that, okay, nobody else can use it, just like your house, only you can live there. Because I am disclosing everything to public. Reveal your invention and get the exclusivity in return. Because if you are disclosing everything for limited period of time, government will protect your invention. That, okay, you are the inventor, you are the inventive entity of this invention. You only use it as you wish till a limited period of time. But how does government benefit from this? If I am disclosing everything to public, after that limited period expires, then this invention goes into public domain. How we can understand the importance of it? Next slide. We have another option of trade secrets. Trade secrets don't have the biggest difference between other rights and trade secrets is there is no limitation of time. Suppose patent gives me a protection for 20 years. After 20 years, it goes into public domain. Now anyone can read my patent and use that invention. But others, if suppose I had invented something and kept it as secret, I'm not going to tell it to government also. I'll hide it from everyone, only use it as I wish. Then if I'm successful to keep it hidden for maybe 100 years as well, it will not come into public domain and overall public will not be benefited. Finally, government's intention is that for a limited period of exclusivity which we are giving to you, overall science should benefit. Other people overall as a society should develop by using your invention. Thus, for limited period of time, you use it, and after that, everyone should be able to use it. Now, the problem with trade, there are both pros and cons with trade secrets. Trade secrets, the maximum benefit is you can have unlimited life for it. 100 years, 200 years, it's your family business. You are not going to tell it to anyone. Only the management, 4 or 5 people know what is the secret ingredient of your composition. Don't tell anyone. But the point is, one day somebody steals your secret and makes it public. Then you have no protection on that. You have other remedies like going to court for the case of theft. But government will not enforce any kind of right that you invented this, so I should be protected that nobody else can use it. No, that is only possible by patents. Next. Now, before I go into the details of patents, we need to understand patent is given to something which you invent, not with which you discover. Discovery can be very important, ultra important, which is even life changing, but if it is only a discovery, patents cannot be given to discoveries. Like discovery of elements. We know there are certain number of elements in our periodic table. 10 years down the lane, 5 years down the lane, somebody finds one more element. This exists. Will he get a patent on that? No, not possible, because it's a discovery. It was already existing. This person who was doing research on that, he just discovered that this exists. Supposedly, somebody did not know that oxygen exists in environment. He found this is called oxygen, but no, you cannot have a patent on oxygen. But the difference is, in today's environment, if somebody is coming up with a new machine to convert environmental oxygen into medical oxygen, that can be patented because it was never ever existing earlier. You have invented that. So for inventions, you have to create something, even though you use natural resources, but you create something. That is the difference between discovery and invention. Next. Mostly I'll try to focus on the pharmaceutical side because that's easier to understand, and in today's context, everyone is more interested as well. See, earlier research used to be very simple. Mostly it was from natural resources done by trial and error, and whatever used to work, they used to keep it, and whatever was not working, it was abandoned, and mostly there were no records. That's why things were lost after few generations. Many times it is like reinventing the wheel. 200 years ago, our ancestors knew about something, then because they did not tell it to someone, finally 50 years later, it was lost. Again, somebody has to work. Logic behind filing of patents is, finally it becomes a document. Documented information is finally safe. It can be even found maybe 200 years later, 300 years later, and anyone will not need to rework certain things. But now, how research is being done nowadays? Next. Dr. Rishu, next. Now the research has become complex. Where I left the last slide, that whatever was not found to be working was abandoned. Now we have even crossed that stage. We have very good example, hydroxychloroquine. It was a drug for malaria, a very old drug, very economical as well. Suddenly after COVID, it became a hot property because it was repurposed, right? So it is nothing could be abandoned. Now if people want to even try repurpose the drugs. Initially when COVID struck in 2020, first approach, because no medicine was there, people were trying to rework their medicines. Something which is working for arthritis is being tried on COVID. Something which is done for other antivirals, that is being tried. Even anti-malarial hydroxychloroquine was tried. So now it has become a very multidisciplinary, time-consuming, highly complex and expensive process. To understand this, how complex and expensive it is, I have a few slides. Next. If any guess could be done, in 2011 it was estimated. First of all, it is an estimate only because no organization has been able to tell how much they invest in a single molecule. A new drug, whenever it comes to market, a general estimate in 2011 was a pharmaceutical company has to invest 1.3 billion US dollars to bring a new drug to the market. It is 1.3 billion US dollars. Why so much money is involved in this? Next. Actually, drug discovery, it's a very, very complex process. First, it sets the phase of drug discovery. Then finally, it becomes a potential drug. And then if successful, it goes into what is known as a drug. Preclinical trials are done. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 studies are done. Next. So it's a very simple process. Do the discovery and development, do the preclinical research, third is clinical research, then give it to FDA. FDA means kind of authority. Every country has authority. Suppose I am a pharmaceutical company, I found something for certain disease. I cannot come to market directly. I have to get it registered with some government organizations and get permission, who will review all my data, and if found to be safe, only then they will allow me to come to market. And finally, even after coming into market, there is safety monitoring, because after going into market, you have no control on who's taking it, how many patients are taking it. If any new side effects are found, they are to be registered. It's a very clear stepwise procedure. Now, where is the complexity? Next slide. Here lies the catch. Overall, developing a medicine takes 10 to 15 years. Those step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which we have seen in the last slide, actually they are fraught with risk. There is risk at every step. Initially, generally, in drug discovery, 5,000 to 10,000 compounds are synthesized. Only 250 of them will go into preclinical based on simple in vitro testing. Means only laboratory testing without involving any living organism. Others will be rejected. And finally, few of them, 4 or 5 will enter clinical trial, and best out of them generally reaches the what is called as the approved drug. And finally, the post-market study. And how much time it overall takes? 10 to 15 years. Maybe this is the procedure which is used to justify that cost of 1.3 billion US dollar for a single drug. Next. Generally, because we are talking about chemical industry, including pharmaceutical industry, due to the uncertainties involved, how much of the percentage annual revenue is being put into R&D? It's highest in the chemical field, in the pharmaceutical field as compared to any other. Because risks are high. Anything can fail. The last slide which we saw, the 4 or 5 which have reached the preclinical stage, it is not that always one of them will be successful. You have invested already $500 million, $600 million in doing all the research, and you can still face the end result that none of them is successful. So companies, how they develop their revenue model, whenever one drug is successful, they have to recoup their investments for all the unsuccessful ones. Only then they will be able to do further research. Next. Finally, coming on to the patents. A patent for an invention is granted by government. So we need to understand that who grants a patent? Government, because they are the one who are acting as a bookkeeper for all this. They will give the inventor rights to make, use or sell their product. We need to understand patent is kind of a negative right. It will never say you produce something. Patent gives you right what you do with your invention. You can make it, you can use it, you can sell it, or you can keep it as well. Don't do anything with it. But still you have got the rights. Don't let others make it. Don't let others use it. Don't let others sell it. Because you are the one who invented it. So, you take the overall control of your invention. when it is granted. Now, two things to be understood, which we'll see in detail in the next slides, is how a patent is different from application. I feel my invention is very good. I go to government office, what is called as a patent office, and ask them, please give me a patent. Is it this simple? No. They will take my application, yes, that is a very simple step. But will they grant a patent? That is where lies the complexity. And one more thing which we need to understand is, if I go to Indian patent office, I will only get a patent for India. I will not get a patent for worldwide or UK or US. So patents are territorial rights. If there is a patent in India or UK, then that will have rights only here. Means I have a patent in India. I can stop other people from selling in India, but I cannot stop other people from selling in UK. But if somebody is trying to import from any other country into India, that also I can stop. Generally, patents will have a limited time. That's what we understood earlier, that government gives a limited time in which you have the exclusive rights. That time is generally 20 years. So finally, what you can do if you are not working with it, there are many reasons. First of all, I am an individual inventor. I don't have that much money that I put a industry and start manufacturing. I have a small lab. Then what should I do? I have a patent. With that patent, I can approach the bigger organizations. That I will sell my patent. It's just like I have a house. I want money. I'll sell it to somebody who wants to purchase a house. So I have a patent. I'll sell it to some other industry, and with a proper contract, get the money for it, and finally they can commercialize it. Next. Those students who are into research and finally having further inclination for higher research, if you are ever interested in a patent, because see, if you do certain invention, you always have an option of a patent. Generally in Indian setup, Indian universities, setup is more regarding publications. Nobody is stopping you from publication. Yes, you need those for final to show that how many publications you have. But if you feel your invention has something good in it, it's not a run-of-the-mill invention, not a very kind of invention which is a minor tinkering of something which you already knew, then don't directly publish it. If you are interested in a patent, don't directly publish it. First, file a patent application. Filing, I told, is a very simple activity. Getting it granted is a difficult one. So first, what you do, file a patent application. Then after that, you can publish. And for other commercial aspects, other bigger organizations, rules for them are, if you have an invention which you feel can be patented and you have already made a product out of it, don't start selling it to the public until you have filed a patent application. If you have something good in your mind, your invention is half cooked, don't give a lecture or presentation before filing a patent application. If you are interested that you will file a patent application, purpose is don't bring it into public domain as such. Because if you bring it into public domain, then it will be very much detrimental to your patent application getting granted. So what you have to do, you have to soon seek a professional advice and file before others do. What is the meaning of file before others do? Next slide. Next. We need to understand that in patent system, it's a race. Simply, it's a race. If you think you have got an invention, but there are very good chances somebody else in some other university of the country or in fact some other part of the world is working on the exactly same thing. If you people, both of you will file a patent, who will get it? It's simply a race. One who files first will get the patent. So it is first to file system, because government cannot recognize who was doing what. They will simply take a decision based on who filed it first. So you don't have to delay it. When you are very much clear about your invention, that yes, you have something good in your hand, you have to file rather than waiting, because if you are getting delayed, overall project may become zero. If somebody else gets a patent on that, then he will get the rights, all the exclusive rights, and he can even stop you from doing it. Next. What we were discussing, there was an alternate system in US, but I'll make it very clear now. Even US is regarding US has moved on to the first to file system, which is a race. Earlier they had a more logical system, but because it was very difficult to implement, and all the other countries in the world were not implementing that, they have now uniformized their system along with the other countries of the world. They have also moved to first to file. Earlier system was they used to give the patent to one who invented first. Even if you are delayed, it was not a race. But the complex part of it was how to prove that I was the first one to invent. There used to be lot of litigation, court cases to just prove I was the one who invented it first. So it doesn't matter whether the other party reached the patent office and filed application first. There were proceedings called as interference proceedings, in which it was decided which person invented it first. And it is not that simply if you have a machine you created a diagram of it. No, it was regarding reduction to practice. Your invention should be sufficiently clear that it can be practiced as well. So there were a lot of nitty-gritties in that, and finally in 2013 US also switched from first to invent to first to file system. And now most of the countries in the world, they are following this first to file system, including India. Next. How does a patent application look like? On the right side, you can see a patent application. Generally, the front page information is bibliographic details, abstract. Abstract is just as abstract of any other normal publication, any JAX publication or ACS publication which we see. Abstract is similar to that with same purpose, that a minor idea of the invention, what is mentioned in this 30 page to 500 page document, what is mentioned in this, I should get an idea by reading this one paragraph. To describe my invention, I also submit drawings, and in detail, finally there is field of the invention, background. Background means what you are doing, what others were doing, how you are better than them, summary of the invention, description of the drawings, and detailed description. Detailed description is generally the purpose of that quid pro quo that government wanted you to tell to the public, because these documents are published in public domain. They are published and freely available. There are no charges like non-patent literature publications, like any other article. They are paid. These are free. Anyone can read them. So government wants you to describe in detail, that so that in future somebody reads your patent, if they want to use it, they should be able to use it. And finally, the most important part of a patent will be claims. Claims can be independent or dependent. We'll see these things in detail next. We understood till now that a patent is a set of exclusive rights granted in respect of an invention for a limited period of time. In exchange for detailed public disclosure of an invention, which we understood. Now, a new solution to a technological problem may also be considered an invention. A technological problem which already existed. Already people are converting environmental oxygen to medical oxygen. But there are certain problems with that. Either yield is coming less or purity is not coming good. If you come up with a new solution, problem was old, but your solution is new. For that also, you can get a patent. So patent can be had for two kind of inventions. You have a breakthrough invention, something which was not at all thought earlier. You can get a patent. But you can also get patents for incremental inventions. Already 10 people were working on it, and you have given us some good incremental value to that, then also you can get a patent. Now, in order to protect an invention, how do you file patent? Next. You file patent application in a patent office examines it, and then finally they only decide whether they will grant it or reject it. It is to be very clearly understood. Every application which is filed, it is not granted. It has very good chances of getting rejected as well. So there are many other things to be considered while filing a patent application, which is kind of out of domain for this presentation. If anyone interested, I can explain that as well. To get a patent office has certain rules. Your invention must be belonging to patentable subject matter. Every country defines that. Every country has different rules. They define it very clearly. Then your invention should be new. Nobody should have done it earlier. It should be non-obvious. See, everyone understands. If somebody had a floor cleaner which was using chlorobenzene, and then I tried iodobenzene for the same purpose, floor cleaning agent, then for a person who does not understand chemistry, it is kind of new. But for the person who understands chemistry, they know, because these changes, they belong to the same family in periodic table. Anyone who has the basic understanding of chemistry, they will have expectation, okay, I want to avoid chlorobenzene, I'll use iodo. So these kind of things generally patent office will ask you how obvious it is for a person skilled in the art. It is not for a layman, it is for a person skilled in the art. And finally, patent will be given to things only which are industrially applicable. Next. How many patent offices do we have in India? 4. Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai and Chennai. If I am a resident of Chandigarh, I want to file a patent, my jurisdiction comes in under Delhi Patent Office. Next. What is the patenting procedure? It is based on timelines. When you invent something, you feel I should file, immediately go to the patent office, file a patent application. It is called as 0 month, means when the day when you first time reach the patent office, file something, 0 month, then at that time they will only check your forms, fees and all, fine. At the 18th month from that time, they will publish it. Publish it in the sense so that everyone knows nothing is hidden in this overall procedure. Everything is published. Your every interaction with patent office will be published in public domain, and that will be for free. Because finally they are going to grant exclusive rights to something. If anyone has any problem, then they can let the patent office know. Finally, patent office will search what your invention is, how good or bad it is. That will be covered under substantive examination, and based on that, they will grant or reject it. And if you are not happy with the rejection, you can appeal it into the higher authority. And finally, if it is granted, patent office also has to make money. You have to pay renewal fees. Even if your patent is granted, it doesn't mean the story ends. To maintain that patent, every year you have to pay maintenance fees. If you stop paying the fees, the patent will again become 0. Next. We were talking about India. I'll just introduce you to the concept of Patent Cooperation Treaty, because I emphasized it multiple times that every country has their own rules. But to bring certain uniformity, there is a treaty, and for which 153 countries in the world are members. It is called as Patent Cooperation Treaty. Next. This came into force in 1978, and finally, what are the benefits of it? Benefits are centralized international filing system. So, suppose my invention is good. I'm not only interested in Indian market. I want to do business in every other country as well. But what to do? Should I go to every country? No. PCT makes it simple. It's a centralized filing system. All the member countries, any residents of those member countries, they can file in PCT. But needs to be understood is PCT will never grant a patent. PCT will only help you with the initial filing system. Final granting will be in the hands of respective patent offices of those countries. Next. We talked about provisional and complete patent application. 0 month, I told that initially when you are not even fully ready, but because it's a race, you have to go and file a provisional patent application. It's your business choice whether you want to file a provisional or a complete. The difference, main difference between the two will be, if you file complete, it will be considered for granting as a patent. Provisional is never considered to be granted for a patent. Provisional will give you right, that they also understand that you are in a hurry to file. It will give you 12 months to finalize your invention and then come with the complete. So it is kind of an N-1 step. Final, if you want to get a patent, complete has to be there. But because you are not perfectly ready, you can start with the provisional. It does not need to have any claims. And if you finally decide that, okay, I filed a provisional, but now 12 months are going to complete and I'm not able to finalize my invention, you can drop it. It will never be published. Nobody will even come to know that you filed it. Now to file a provisional or complete, simply it's your business decision. Next. Complete patent applications, we generally understood 0 month, 12 month. These terms I'm using multiple times. 0 month provisional, 12 month complete. 12 month complete I filed, but later on I found that certain more improvements I can do in that. How to cover those? There are provisions like initial application we called as parent, and then the child applications like divisional, continuation and patent of addition. These are also possible. Next. Next. Okay. One thing which we need to understand is, even if I have an invention, I'm very much sure I have an invention which is novel, which is non-obvious, but there are certain things which cannot be patented. You give a new theory or a formula, mathematical formula, no patent office will grant it. Even though it was not existing earlier, you invented it. It was not discovered, it was invented, but still nobody will give you a patent on that. Methods of doing business, plants and animals, and method of medical treatment. Some countries like US, they will give you method of medical treatment patent, but Europe and India, they will not give you this kind of a patent. We initially understood that exclusive life of a patent is generally about 20 years. But there are provisions to extend it from 20 years as well. And those provisions generally work only in the sector of pharmaceuticals, because pharmaceutical patents, means pharmaceutical organizations, they cannot immediately start using their patent. We understood that you have an invention, immediately go and file, even if it is not ready to come to market. If I have a mobile phone, maybe I did all the research and launched it within the 1 year of the initial applications or 2 years of the initial application. But in pharmaceuticals, even though I am ready, what we understood, government organizations are also involved. You have to give your data to government organizations. If they allow you to come to market, only then you can come to market, right? So it means my patent life is running, but I cannot still use it because government offices, they have still not clarified my drug to come to market. For these kind of things, to compensate that, in pharmaceutical patents, some extension is provided, maybe maximum up to 5 years. Next. We generally, I'll explain it as if this bold purple circle, it is like boundary wall of my house. Please don't come in. It is the boundary. Similarly, in my patent, the claims will be boundary. I have a 30-page, 40-page, 50-page document, but the last section of the patent, which is called as claims. Because suppose, if I have some litigation regarding my house, I go to court. If I have some problem, I feel somebody is infringing on my rights in patent, still I go to courts. How courts will decide? They will not read my full specification of 50 pages, 100 pages. They will read the last section, what is called as claims. So, how do I get a patent? Novel. This is the aspect which we had understood earlier. How it is novelty is considered? The outer circles in the second figure, if I should consider them as prior art, something which was already known. If my circle is not having something which is already known, it means mine is novel. But for infringement purpose, if anything is entering my claim domain, it is infringing. Whatever is outside, it is called as non-infringing. So finally, the legal sanctity of a patent will be decided by its claim, which is called as the boundary of that property right. Next. How it is supported? If I want to read it, it has to be read through that complete description. Full patent specification of umpteen number of pages. It is just as a support for the claims. Legal rights are with the claims. Support for that is given in the description. Next. Important type of patent claims. There are many types of claims. Composition of matter, you found a new formulation, you found a new process, you found a new apparatus, and then Marcus claims. Interestingly, I would like to show you some Marcus claims. Next. Next. This figure we are seeing generally till the time in colleges and universities, we rarely see these kind of figures until or unless we start publications where we are making multiple compounds. Now, in this, somebody has written a claim like a compound of Formula 1. Everything is clear in this except for R1 and R2. R1 is mentioned as hydrogen, and R2 a straight or branched alkyl of from 1 to 8 carbon atom. Means how many if somebody can guess and drop me a message, how many compounds will be covered in this figure? It will be lot of compounds, because R2 can be methyl, ethyl, then normal propyl, isopropyl, butyl which is chained. There are multiple options. How to cover all those multiple into one? This is called as Marcus claim. R1, R2 are hypothetical, but they can cover multiple compounds in a single structure. So this is called as Marcus. Next. What we were discussing as prior art. Prior art is not always meaning what you know. You feel your invention is new, but if your invention or related things are found somewhere published in any brochure, or in fact a thesis, or any patent application, patent website, any other website, advertisement, anywhere, it will be called as prior art before your date of filing of your application. Next. Moving on to the last part of my presentation. We are generally seeing innovator drugs and generic drugs. Mostly in India, Indian companies which we hear, they are making generic drugs. Generic drugs in the sense, initial 1.3 billion investment we had shown, that is done by innovators. Innovators who discovered it for the first time. To make it more affordable, there is a mechanism that you only do bioequivalence studies and come to market. There is a lot of litigation between these two parties, but yes, this is the aspect which is available. There are innovators who first time bring the drug to market, and then there are generics who don't do the complete studies. They will do only bioequivalence studies, and then they will come to the market. There are certain risks and rewards in it. Risks are also very high and rewards are also very good. Next. Now, this is the question from where I will stop making any political statements. This question can never be answered very easily. Whom to give balance to, patent or patient? Next. If you feel a patent is not good, finally, if somebody is getting stuck somewhere due to a patent, what rights do they have? It's still in application stage. File a pre-grant opposition. Patent office will listen to you. If patent office has already granted, but you feel patent office should not have granted it, it is something which is not a good invention or which was already known. You know some prior art where it was already known. You go and file a post-grant opposition. And even if you lost that opportunity, you can go to courts and ask the courts to revoke the patent. Now coming on to the section which is very famous right now, compulsory licensing. This in the latest series of COVID developments. Compulsory license is being discussed everywhere. Means right now this IP topic has come even into primetime news channels. Next. Taking certain information from this latest pandemic, I'll take you through certain headlines and only discuss those so that you can understand a bit of it. Next. Very famous word nowadays, remdesivir. Everyone wants to know what is that. If we go into the details of it, actually a company called Gilead has a patent on that and it expires in 2037. We are in 2021. So nobody should be able to use it. Now the headlines are, courts are asking center, why are you not considering compulsory licensing for COVID drugs like remdesivir? We'll discuss what is compulsory license based on this. And then there is another headline, Gilead sues Russia over compulsory license issued to a company making remdesivir. So finally, there are provisions in patent laws wherein in the case of situation of emergency, patent rights can be overridden. Initially, there was a contract between the government and the innovator that, okay, for 20 years, nobody will touch you. And for 20 years you enjoy, after that, everyone can use your invention. But in case within those 20 years, some emergency strikes, what will be the government doing? There are provisions in the patent law where government can temporarily suspend the patent rights of the innovator. That's what Supreme Court is asking for. But it's not that easy because the innovator will not easily give away their rights. And one more headline which I have pasted in the last, that our state of Jharkhand, it has sought permission to import cheaper generic drug of remdesivir from Bangladesh. How? If in India it is not easy to get, how it is easy to get in Bangladesh? Bangladesh is considered to be the least developed country. Patent rights are still not applicable there. For any innovator drug, Bangladeshi companies, they can make any number of copies of that. Next. Recently, very famous and most highlighted, it is being told that US backed the waiver on vaccine patents to boost supply. It has been highlighted in every news channel that yes, US has done some favor, that they have also agreed that we will waive off the patent rights so that supplies are boosted. Because if patent rights are not suspended, only one or two companies will be making it, how others will get it. But there are two sides to the coin. One more article which I want to discuss is, there is a company called Moderna. They have come up with the COVID vaccine in the late 2020. They itself, voluntarily, they decided we will not enforce our patents. But how many companies are able to use that information? Very rare. Because patents are not giving the total nitty-gritties of the invention. It is like learning cooking from your mother and learning from YouTube. Certain aspects of it will not be told in the YouTube video, which your mother can tell. That is the same. If Moderna is only waiving off its patent rights, then yes, everyone can make it. But do the other companies know how to make it? These are life-saving drugs. Even if small variation is there, it can lead to toxicity into patients. So there is a catch in it that fine, patents are no more a roadblock, but other companies are not 100% aware of how to make it. Next. I'll simply go through the three options which we are having in India right now. Currently we are seeing Covaxin, developed by ICMR and Bharat Biotech. Then Covishield, developed by, everyone knows Serum Institute, but there is a catch to it that Serum Institute is only making it. The science behind it has been developed by AstraZeneca, which is an English company along with Oxford University. And Sputnik, we know, is being imported from Russia. Now, the question we were discussing regarding compulsory licensing. Indian government, I will not go into political statements, but if I have to predict what can be the easiest to upscale, ICMR, being a government organization, it has rights in Covaxin. So government need not issue any compulsory license. They can simply give the know-how to all the other organizations who are interested, and Covaxin can be upscaled. With regard to Covishield and Sputnik, patents will be of concern. Otherwise, compulsory license will need to be issued if these are to be given to certain other organizations. Next. I had discussed regarding government giving compulsory license. There is another method of compulsory license where a pharma company can approach government. There are two methods: government itself giving a compulsory license, or a pharma company approaching government and then government deciding. So recently on 5th May, a pharma organization from Hyderabad, Natco Pharma, it filed an application seeking compulsory license for COVID drug baricitinib. Now it is for the government to decide whether they want to give a compulsory license or not, because government was the one who gave the patent rights. Now only government can decide whether they want to suspend those rights temporarily or not. And it is not only about patents, many times even trademarks, which we had discussed initially, that okay, generally they don't come into picture in the scientific aspect. But there is an interesting story behind Covishield. When Covishield was about to be finalized as a name for Serum Institute's vaccine, one more organization, Cutis Biotech, they filed a case. They said Covishield name should not be used by Serum Institute because we have already registered this name. And we are already working in the field of Ayurvedic, allopathic, medicinal and pharmaceutical preparations. But court did not favor the Cutis Biotech because Covishield name as used by Cutis Biotech was in the field of generally hand sanitizers or cleansers, and Covishield is a vaccine. So finally they decided in favor of Serum Institute. Next. So here I come to the end of my presentation. I await any kind of queries if you have, so that I can answer anything which I can help you with or in any of the concept. Over to you, Rishu ma'am. I'm waiting for any queries.
Thank you, Mr. Manish. Thank you so much for this very nice presentation. So if there are any queries, then we can ask students. Mr. Manish, I would like to ask one thing here. How much time does it take for a patent once it is filed and then it is going to be granted? In how much time?
Usual time is generally 4 to 5 years many times. As I told, there are timelines. 0 month you file, 18th month it will be published. Generally, I am telling according to the Indian practice, then you file an examination request that you request the patent office, please examine my application, and then based on the serial number, because there are a lot of patents, whenever your number will come, they will examine it. Generally, after examination starts, it will not take much time. Major time goes into that waiting period when your number does not come. Otherwise, after the number comes, within a year, it will be mostly decided. If it is a simple, straightforward case. But if the case is complex, anybody files the opposition, then it can extend more than that. But recently we saw, even this is the practice in other countries, the Sputnik, which I discussed just now, this is a very good example. Russia, it granted the patent within 5 to 6 months for the Sputnik related invention. So it depends on the priority of the patent office.
Okay. So in this time of pandemic, there might be many cases of the vaccine development in which the patents might have been filed and they have been examined on priority basis.
Right. In many countries, it is being done, and there is a provision also. If, it will charge patent office will charge you a bit extra. If you want to jump that line, you have to pay a bit extra. They will prioritize your examination.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So I guess there are no more questions from the audience side as well.
Let me check on the YouTube also. Yes, students, in the meantime, if you have any question, then you can ask. Since it is from your chemistry background also, it is related to your background, to the science field. So another thing that I wanted to ask Mr. Manish, can the ideas can also be patented? For example, if I have got one idea.
I did not get your query. Can you repeat?
Can the idea also be patented? Means I have not developed anything, but I have certain idea. So
you can file an application. Nobody stops you from that. But point is whether it will be granted or not. I told very clearly that filing is very easy. Nobody stops or nobody even judges what you file. But when the examination will start, then they will ask you for the support. What support do you have for this? Because they have to fulfill the criteria of novelty, obviousness, and then industrial application as well. If it is just an idea, then how it will be applicable to industry?
okay.
So you have to reduce it to practice somehow. You have to show certain examples that yes, this is my idea and how it can be actually practiced.
Okay.
Right. I got a query. Somebody has asked, can a minor file patent independently? Filing a patent has nothing to do by age. Age is not a criteria. You can invent at any age, so you can file a patent at any age. You may need certain help from the experts in patent field, but nobody stops because you are a minor, so age is not a criteria.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's session a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our special guest, Mr. Manish Sharma, Senior Manager, Winsome IP Solutions, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. Thank you, sir, for sharing your magnificent knowledge and experience in the patents and intellectual property rights. This vast information regarding the field is essential in today's world, where innovation-led startups count every second. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. Nisha Bhargava, President IIC, Dr. Indu Arora, Vice President IIC, Dr. Neelu, Convener IIC. I owe special gratitude to our coordinators, Dr. Nisha Dara and Dr. Rishu, who worked very hard to ensure that this occasion becomes a memorable success. I thank all the distinguished invitees present here and all good hearts who worked behind the screen. Last but not the least, I thank you, my friends, for your cooperation in making the session a great success. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I would like to say thanks to Mr. Manish, and he has, in a very short time duration and in this pandemic time, he has agreed to spare this time for this particular session. And Mr. Manish, and it's been really kind to you that you have given such a thoughtful session for our students. And I would also like to thank our students coordinator. They have managed all this event in a very active manner. So thank you so much, Miss Palak, Miss Malika, and Miss Priya. So thank you. I thank Dr. Nisha Bhargav and Dr. Indu Arora and Dr. Neetu, for the complete support for this particular event. And thank you, Dr. Nisha Davra, for managing all these things really well. Thank you, Mr. Manish. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope all stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.